Hi, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to today's webinar where we're going to be coming to you to talk about the Arts and Disability Initiatives. I'd like to quickly begin by acknowledging that I'm dialing in from the lands of the Turrbal and Yagara peoples. I'd like to acknowledge the many traditional custodians of country throughout this beautiful continent. We are so very privileged to gather on this country and to share our knowledge, culture, art, now and of course with future generations. Um, I'd like to quickly introduce myself as well. My name is Zoha Spats. I am the head of Community and Experimental at Creative Australia. I'd really like to once again thank you all for spending some time with us to find out a little bit more about the arts and disability initiatives. Before we crack into a lot of information for you today, let me begin by allowing my wonderful colleagues to spend a minute introducing themselves to you today as well. So we'll kick off with Margaret Mayhew.
Yeah. Thanks, Zoha. Hello, everyone. I'm Margaret Mayhew. My pronouns are she, her, they, them. And I'm hoping this isn't too wretched to fingerspell that I'm joining from unceded Wurundjeri lands of the Eastern Kulin Nations, very shortly to move up to unceded Gadigal land. And I'm the Disability Programs Manager at Creative Australia and very excited and delighted to be working with wonderful colleagues. I'll pass you firstly to Andy Rantzen to introduce yourself.
Hey everybody, very glad to be here. My personal pronouns are he and him. I'm calling in from the lands of the Bidjigal people of the Eora Nation. My respects to elders past, present and emerging. I'm a grants manager here at Creative Australia and I work with my colleague Christopher Bryant, who will introduce himself next.
Hi everyone, my name is Chris. My pronouns are he, him. I'm calling in from unceded Gadigal land. And yes, I'm a grant manager, artist services officer in Andy's team.
Brilliant. Thanks so much, guys. And also just a quick shout out to Fiona and Georgia, who are joining us and will be your Auslan interpreters today. Thank you so much for being available and helping us transfer this information out into the sector. So today we're here to talk with you. We're going to go through some slides and share as much information as possible to really speak to the arts and disability initiatives for this coming year, 2025. This initiative is specifically for deaf and disabled artists and workers. On the screen, you can see a screenshot of the website's listing for the initiative itself. The initiative allows artists to apply for $30,000. You must be an individual to apply for this particular opportunity. And you can apply for a variety of things, a creative development, for experimentation, the creation of new work, a presentation or promotion of new work, skills development, mentoring or residencies, even practice-based research. So later in this session, Andy and Margaret and Chris are going to talk you through some variances and opportunities that you can take advantage of. But as I said, these grants are for a total amount of $30,000. And one of the major changes that has happened for the disability initiatives is that applicants can now request up to $3,000 on top of the $30,000 for specific accessibility expenses. And we'll talk through more of those in detail, but just as a quick example, that might be access costs for a consultant to support the work. It could be for assistive listening devices or audio loops, audio descriptions. Perhaps it might also be for hiring access aids or equipment, maybe even plain English marketing material. We'll have a whole range of potential access costs available on our website, but also throughout this opportunity and this webinar, we'll be able to talk to you more. The deadline for this opportunity or initiative is the 8th of July, 2025, and you must apply online through our website. And you must register through our website 2 days before as a deadline, July 8th. So please, we really encourage you to make contact with Artist Services, and we'll have their information on our screen throughout this conversation. But please make sure that you reach out to talk to them about the process. This is the 4th year for deaf and disabled creatives to apply for these initiative. And it's now become a really key action under Equity, the Arts and Disability Associated Plan. As I said, one of the new opportunities is through this initiative to now additionally apply for up to $3,000 to support your access requirements. We have also, this time around, we'll be asking people to support the application with a budget. And again, Margaret, Andy, and Chris will talk you through what a budget might look like and how to support you in drafting something for your application. The contact details on the screen at the moment. As I said before, it's really important that you reach out to the team here. You can talk to them about your idea. You can talk to them about the grant. You can ask them any questions, but also you can just simply introduce yourself. And sometimes that's the best way to start a relationship. So on the screen in front of you, you've got our contact detail, an email. It looks generic, but it definitely hits the right people. So please reach out to us and contact Artist Services if you've got any specific information. That's enough of me as a talking head. I'm going to hand over to Chris, Margaret, and Andy to kick off a conversation.
Okay, thanks so much, Zohar. I think we're mainly going to have some Q&A, but we've got a few slides tracing through. But should we do this? Yeah, just now. So in terms of finding the page or the screenshot that you can see, we're just saying there's the general Creative Australia website. It has a wonderful box saying how can we help? And so that's the main one. So you can use that, or if you're able to scroll down, if you scroll down, I think the next slide should show right down the bottom, there's investments and opportunities, and it's find a grant or opportunity, or click on investments and opportunities. It comes up to a very rather beautiful looking page. It says find investments and opportunities, and it has a few different options. But then probably the best way to find arts and disability, if you go to the next slide, is just to type in disability initiative. Now, if you don't want to go through that, and Zohar, I'll get you to go back to any of the previous slides. There's on the top right-hand corner, there's a thing saying login. And shortly we'll explain that, but that will take you directly to the application management system, which will give you all of the information. If this is all too much to take in, the main message we have is if you can scroll down to the contact slide, please contact Artist Services. So this will how you get to the page. You can call, you can ring toll free. They've also got a link through the National Relay Service. You can also send an email, any of those ways, and they can arrange additional communication support if talking on the phone is difficult, if you would prefer to have a video conference, or if typing is also difficult. So please contact Artist Services. They're utterly friendly and wonderful people, at least to my face. I don't know what they're like. So, no, they're very good. Should we have some general questions, Chris and Andy, about what we're doing? I think we worked.
Yeah.
Andy, I'll get you to start because I've become nervous.
That's all right. Thank you, Margaret. So what I'm doing now is asking the kinds of questions that clients would ask us.
Yeah, I think there's some simple things. So I think that the main, let's go back to the arts and disability thing. So scroll back before we go in and have a look closely. But we've got, when is the deadline again?
The deadline is 3 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time on 8th of July.
Now, if I can't find the form, what do I do? Or if I don't have the internet at home and I'm going into the library to look at stuff or I'm looking on my screen, how can I still apply or find out?
Yeah, to find the guidelines.
Yes, how would I
Uh,
do that?
you can contact us, of course, or you can Google up Arts and Disability Initiative.
Yep.
That will show you the guidelines, which you will need to have to one side. And then
Hmm.
on the top right of the guidelines page is a
Hmm.
button called Login or Apply. Also, it appears underneath the title of the initiative.
Hmm.
Click on that, and it will take you to the page in front of you. And
Hmm.
this is the page where, if you need to register
Hmm.
with our system, you can do so there.
Yeah.
And as mentioned before, we suggest you register no later than Thursday, the 3rd of July.
Mm.
If you're already registered, you can simply go ahead and apply.
Hmm.
And we're about to talk you through all that. Now, if you're unable to apply online or you have specific access needs, we will work those out with you. So get in touch with us and we'll
Yep.
figure out a way that's useful, effective, helpful for you
Hmm.
and meets your specific access needs.
Okay, and your
Yeah.
call lines are ready and hot and waiting from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Is that true?
Correct. Yes.
Great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Excellent. Fabulous. Now, I've got also just front of mind questions. Do I need to prove that I'm deaf or disabled? Do I need to attach doctor certificates or no? No,
No,
Chris?
not at all. Nope. No. Just no.
Okay,
We don't require that. Yeah.
that's fantastic. And I don't have an ABN, and I think that I've heard things about auspicing. So
Yep. So
um,
that's if you have an ABN and you wish to use it, that is very much fine. But we do not require you to have an ABN. You can apply to log on. Sorry, let me start that again. You can register for our system without an ABN. That is very much fine. If you were to be successful, we would work out next steps. You would either look at an auspicer or really that's it. But yeah,
yep, yep. And the other question, and yeah, because I'm not sure if everyone knows what auspicing is, but so
yes.
I get I rely on if I relied on Centrelink payments, which I don't now, but I have in the past. Will this impact? Will getting a grant? How will that impact my disability support pension?
Yep. So I did kind of jump the gun there. I do apologize.
Sorry about that.
But yeah, going around. So all of our grant funds are unfortunately considered taxable income. So in
Hmm.
the case of disability pension or other pensions, things that would be affected, we do recommend getting an auspicer. So to explain what that means that you, the artist, would engage a company. There are many we can suggest, but like Auspicious Arts is the main one. And they take a small fee from the grant funds and they act as the taxable sort of, so that we pay the money to them, and then they give it to you as you are creating the project and needing the funds.
Hmm. Hmm. And that can give you advice on the best way to structure your grant so that the payments, it's not a lump sum, and so you don't lose uh, Centrelink. So the
Yeah,
income
well,
is.
so if you were getting an auspice involved, then you would not be, um, because they would be taking the tax fall, so you wouldn't be affected, is what I'm.
Yeah, so that's one way of getting around it. But thank
Yeah,
you for that. And as you can tell by Christopher's incredibly informed response, Artist Services, any question, get in contact, and they can give you advice and suggestions and referrals. So, should we? Are we ready for the next step, the demo? What do you think? Or have
I
we
think we
covered
should take a
everything?
look at the
yeah.
application form. Yeah.
I think
Yes,
let's
yeah,
do
let's
it.
do that. Great.
Just share
So
the screen here.
fantastic.
So, presuming that you have registered, you have logged in, you will be
Wait,
greeted.
yep,
Oh,
great.
yep.
Let's wait till it pops up.
Oh,
Fabulous. So,
both seeing it. Yep.
yep.
Sorry. Yep. So you'll be greeted with this page here.
Hmm.
The first thing you want to do is we'll go to the left. There is a grey bar. and we're just looking for the third one down. So there's information, grantee portal, and then apply for a grant, and that is the one that we want.
Mhm.
So we click onto that, and then we just scroll all the way down to the very bottom, and here we can see Arts and Disability Initiative.
Yep.
Click on that to begin a new draft. Having a think.
Yep.
Happens sometimes. And then here we go. We'll see the draft form for the Arts and Disability Initiative.
Mhm.
To begin, there's the table of contents. There's some individual information that is really just more statistical. Are you an Australian citizen? What is your name?
Mhm.
And then here we have, are you applying on behalf of a group?
Mm.
Now, the Arts and Disability Initiative is only open to individuals and groups, so not to organizations. So this means individual artists, but this also can mean, for example, a band or an artist collective, or sort of, if there's two or three of you, that is more what it means. Not a big company, basically.
Mhm. Mhm.
We go through, we'd see administered grants, which is what I was referencing before. So there's a bit more information there, and there's a link to further information. It's also important to note that you don't need to have one locked in for your application.
Yep.
So you can say yes if you have one, but if you are successful and you get it, and then you decide, oh, I actually would like to be administered, we can work that out for you.
So
Changing it.
So I'm just going to check. So I used the word auspicer before. I didn't explain the full meaning, but
Yes.
auspicing is another word for a grant for what we mean here, an administrating organization. So they'll do the
Yes.
grants administration and management for you.
Yes.
So if you were getting help from one of those, this is the part you would fill in, yes?
Yes, correct. I do apologize. Like the words are quite interchangeable for us
Mm.
as well, which does
Mm.
not make it easy or clear for anybody. I'm very sorry. So then we go through here. We've got the First Nations protocols and the Commonwealth Child Safe Framework
Mhm.
and some more statistics. And then we get to application.
Mm.
So to begin, project title, just record the title of your project in 100 characters or less.
So that's about 10 or 20 words, one sentence?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah,
quite
great.
pithy, just like what's the name?
Yeah.
Then we go project summary. So this one asks to summarize your project in 800 characters or less,
So
noting, of course, that this you'll absolutely be able to describe more detail later. So
yep. So I think we're talking about this. This should be like a 30-second elevator pitch. Yep. Really
yes, yeah,
simple.
this is how do we get you involved? You get in, you want to be like, this is this amazing thing that I'm doing, and here it is. You just
Yeah.
like you're really quick, punchy.
Now, should I try and use complex jargon or something? I've got doctor before my name. I want to sound clever. Should I do that here, or should I describe it as if I was just literally meeting someone in a lift in the public, just trying to say what I'm doing and why?
Yeah, if you meet someone in public, that's what we want. We don't need artist speak, and there kind of isn't enough room for it in this case. So there's heaps of room later for you to go in and go in depth to your rationale. But here we just want the punchy one.
Okay, great.
Then we want tell us about your background and practice as an artist or arts worker. So this could include career highlights and key achievements. And here we want 2,400 characters or less.
Yeah. And Andy, how many words did we work out that was? Or
2,400?
yeah.
Yep. We make it approximately 400 words. Of course, it will vary. Yeah.
So in this case, we're just looking for just a bio, basically something that relates to your ability to make your project, I guess.
Yeah.
We also acknowledge that many of us have incredibly varied, wonderful careers. So this is more just I'm pitching to write a book. Here's everything that convinces you I can write this book.
Yeah.
I've done all these amazing theatre things over here, which we might get into later. But this is me and my book work.
Yep. So I don't know if people have tried this, but I know when I'm nervous about grants, I'll sit with a friend and I'll set a timer. That's why I'm asking about words, and I might say, okay, I'm going to speak for 3 minutes about my my career. If I want, say, 400 words, and what I get in those 3 minutes, I'm like, okay, that's clear. And then they say, but you missed that thing. So if people were practicing by recording themselves or timing themselves before they write, would that be a good approach maybe?
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, we just want it pithy,
yeah,
basically. Just
great.
clear.
Then about your
Um,
project.
yes. Oh, about are you working with other people?
Oh,
Yes,
yeah,
no.
yes.
And then we can put in some details of the person there, just and whether they're confirmed or not, basically. So again, this is more just a statistical sort of question, but it is vague information.
Mhm.
Then we go about your project. So this is where we get to the meat of the application. So tell us what you want to do and why, how you'll do the work, who you're going to work with, and the key steps that you will take. So
Mhm.
this is 5,600 characters or less, which I have this up.
I make it about 1,000 words, give or take a couple
Yes.
of hundred,
Between, yeah, 800 and 1,400, I guess, depending
something
if
like
you're
that.
very small words.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
So this would be about 5 to 10 minutes if I was practicing this. And
yeah,
you've got, I really like this because it's actually got some of the key topics. So that'll stop me going off track. So
yeah,
I might just say, go, okay, 1 minute, what do I want to do? 1 minute, why I want to do it. 1 minute, how I want to work. 1 minute, who I want to work with. And then maybe a couple of minutes just sort of saying what I'll do when.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a really great way to structure it, because there are so many, I guess, parts of this question. You really can just say what I want to do,
Mm,
paragraph. Why, paragraph. How, paragraph. Who. Like you can just make it basic, clear, because that's just the information and it keeps you on track. And honestly, I think it's a very easy way.
yeah.
Um, then we go to the budget. Now, as we can see here, big bold letters, please save this form before completing your budget.
Mm,
Once you have saved the application, the budget section will become visible. So
yeah.
we're just going to take the mouse down to the
I'm
bottom
I'm just
panel.
going to get you to check my
Oh,
extreme anxiety levels. So
yes.
can I stop and change and take breaks and save this application as I do it?
You absolutely can. In
Mhm.
fact, we generally recommend if you have the capacity to draft in our sort of draft form, that is probably the best way to do it, because
Mm,
it has a character count as you are typing, which is
mm.
extremely helpful.
Yeah.
And also you can save everything, and it just is on that thing. So at the sorry. So as you come towards the closing date, it's just already all there, and you can just go boom, click submit.
So we're saying start today
Yeah.
and just get better and definitely, yeah, save. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that
And
save button's down the bottom. Yeah.
yes, yeah, yeah. So we go down, we've got the panel here that's slightly more gray, cancel and save. So we'll go click save.
Yeah.
It'll have a little loading thing.
Andy, did you have anything to add or?
Look, again, to really drive home the point, if you're struggling with the budget section, give us a call. We
Mm,
can look at your draft application and work with you to make sure that any confusing points or any areas that are causing anxiety or concern,
yeah.
we can help you through that. So don't be afraid to contact us.
Great. So Christopher's now
Absolutely.
just scrolling through, and when you do that and you come into the budget, you'll have to scroll right down through the form again. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then,
Yes. And then here we have, confusingly, the edit button, which is in the top right-hand corner instead of the bottom.
yep.
So we see this here, just hover over it so it's blue for a second, and then we click edit. And again, we'll go loading sign
Mhm.
and go back in and we'll scroll back down again. Da, 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 and then here we go. Here we have ourselves a budget,
Yep.
um, which love this, does not actually seem to have opened up. That's very
Okay.
fun. Um,
Maybe because you didn't put any answers in the previous sections.
but I did that last
Yeah, that's what it's asking.
time.
What I was thinking is because this is quite hard for me to see on screen, and it might be hard for other people. Just for the budget section, Zoha, would you be able to share some of the slides that show the little budget pop-up windows, and we can talk through some of those points, and then Christopher can make up an imaginary thing and save that. Then we'll go through. So we've got save your form before completing your budget on this slide, and then the next slide should Yeah, so the budget, and I wish I'd made that bigger after saying it would be bigger. Um, but there's a green box which is saying income and in kind, and then there's a red box saying expenses. Now, the income, what's in kind income?
So income itself is any finances that you might be getting in your project. So
Mhm.
let's say you're writing a book, book sales could be included, or
Mhm.
if you're doing a show, ticket sales.
Mhm.
In kind, however, is any passing, I guess, of goods or services instead of finances. So let's say if you were getting a free space for an exhibition for 2 weeks, you would put those 2 weeks as in-kind addition into your budget.
Yep, yep.
Um,
Now,
or
with the income, do we include the grant amount, or is this just stuff that we'd make on top of the grant? Um,
no, so this would be on top of the grant.
yeah,
We wouldn't put the grant itself in.
yeah.
The other thing to notice while I struggle with this is, I apologize, this is going over. Um, is that anything that you put into your income, so whether that is financial or whether that is in kind, will add to, on top of your grant, basically.
Mhm.
So it is a $30,000 ask, but there, if you are adding, say, 2,500 on top of that,
Mhm.
you need I guess, your budget needs to balance to that added 3,250 by now.
Yep, I think that might come up in the next couple of slides. So this one
Yeah.
is the budget income. So
Okay.
it says you've done ones about writing. I've done things for my imaginary cult. I'm pretending that I didn't get this job and I'm still in Melbourne and I'm trying to create my cabaret queer performance cult into a funded, legitimate funded arts project um, under the Disability Initiative. And I'd say, okay, I'd get $1,000 worth of ticket sales. I'd make $500 in merch, which would be little crafty zines or stickers. And then, so I put also in kind. So I often get people to give me lifts because I can't use public transport for long periods of time and I can't drive. So I've said here $2,000. So is that a reasonable amount to have in my budget income?
Yes, we don't actually require. It is also important to state, I think, we don't require you to have income or in-kind income.
Right.
It's really just if you are getting those things and you would like to note them, you can pop them in, but you're not required to. If you don't have anything, totally fine. We do not mind.
Fabulous.
I but the budget just does not seem to be showing up for me. Does anybody else have? Because I just apparently cannot use this.
Okay. Um, Andy's
Well,
looking very,
let's have a look at the screen here, and just while Chris is working on that,
yeah.
uh, and just I wanted to point out, or wrap it all up by pointing out that your expenses should be exactly $30,000 more than your income because the
Mm,
amount that you're requesting is $30,000. If you're unsure of how to balance your budget in that way, give us a call. If you find that your total expenses is less than $30,000, think about ways in which you can increase the size and scale of the project or the duration of it to make it a bigger project and thereby increase your expenses.
yep.
We
Um,
can discuss your options with you on that one.
so on this slide, I've done an imaginary budget for my I'm going to make my cult a big legitimate arts project. So and some of the things that I've put in and when you come up, you can show how they look on the form. But I've put in studio rent about 3 grand. That's for band rehearsals. Transport about $1,500, lugging equipment. Venue hire about $1,500. Artist fees 10 grand, technician fees, 2 grand, etc. Now, do I need to get quotes for these
No.
events? No.
Not at
Okay.
all.
All right.
So we do just yeah. Generally, if you've got a sense of it, if you've engaged with people, that's helpful information to include, and
Mhm.
it is helpful for the peers to sort of realize that you're not pulling these numbers from thin air. But we
Yeah.
don't ask for quotes or anything like that. You don't need them. So that's totally fine.
Yep. And what's this word contingency mean?
Contingency, so that's just, I guess, extra, so, sort of an extra little pot of money that you have got to account for, we're in
Mm.
cost of living crisis. Things are very expensive. If you are flying places, for example, those costs can be drastically lower or higher, or things like that. And we
Or
expect,
say the weather, or just say the weather something, and I thought, okay, we're going
yeah,
to have, 200 people at this event and no one shows up because the
yeah,
rain is wretched. I'm like, okay, there goes our ticket sales.
yeah,
Was that a reasonable thing?
yeah.
Um, uh, yeah, okay, that sounds great. Yeah.
Um,
Oh,
yeah, so I've managed to work. We've got it back now. We
oh,
have
fantastic.
ourselves,
So
but
this is perfect timing. Let's
yes,
so Zaha will end the screen and Christopher will resume sharing screen.
and just quietly, if that does happen to you, of course, our recommendation is please call us and we will get our operations team onto it. We will work with you. We're very happy to help. And as you can see, I've just had issues with it. It can be a bit
Oh,
persnickety
I
sometimes.
can see the little green
Yes.
pluses.
So
Great.
here we go. We can actually do things. We go income, add some income. Let's have a think. We'll go item. So if income generated for the project, the tickets or the book sales, any kind of sales related to the thing, uh, organizations funding, other grant funding,
So
state funding.
all of these categories are already listed. Can I add another
Yes.
just in case I get some I don't know, income? I'm just pulling something out of my hair.
No, there's
No.
nothing that you can add there. But if you're not sure, again, just call us, contact us. We can sort of guide you and say, oh, it's probably in this one,
Yeah,
not
great.
the organizations fund, but let's say own cash contribution.
Yeah,
So
great.
I'm going to put $500 of my own savings in. So we're going to save that,
Hmm.
and then we go here. And so that requires, that's the income, that's 500. So that doesn't take away from the 330,000, sorry,
Hmm.
but that does add to the top of it. So then we go down here and we go to expenses. So this is where you will detail, I guess, what you will spend the grant money on.
Hmm.
Uh, got artist salaries, wages, and fees.
Hmm.
Other salaries, wages, and fees. I guess anyone else working on the project.
Hmm.
Project and production costs,
Hmm.
access costs,
Yep.
travel and accommodation costs, marketing, and then administration costs.
Yep. Yep.
Um, and as mentioned, we just need this to
To balance.
come
So
to, yep, to balance.
administration, in my other budget, I had things like insurance. So that
Yep.
would be an administration cost because I'll probably have
Yes.
to get insurance for it. Okay.
Yep.
And am I required to have insurance just so if I have a project with public outcome?
Yes, generally we'd expect so, yeah.
Yeah, great.
um, support you. So then we put those things in. And again, if you are having trouble meeting that 30,000, give us a call. We can give you some advice on how to, you know,
Hmm.
flesh out the budget. But generally, it'll just come back to maybe pay yourself more, pay your collaborators more, maybe consider a longer season or, things like that.
So I'm really making kind of educated guesstimates. Is it
Yes.
going to be easier for the peer assessors if I just do round figures rather than precise dollar amounts with cents? Because I do actually like to do the latter in my own time.
Yeah.
So big
Yes.
round
Yeah.
figures. Yep.
Because so with our other grants, it does, the ask can be varied, but because it is 30,000 and we just need to hit that 30,000, it's much more simple to just round it up.
Yep.
Have
And
yourself
what if my, just say I get the grant and then my expenses change, what do I do?
you would contact us. I would be allocated, or one of my lovely colleagues would be allocated as your grant manager. And so we just have a chat with us. If, not always, but sorry, what am I saying? Just have a chat with us through the budget sort of, variations.
Mm.
Some of them might be just things that we can, it comes out in the wash. If it is a bigger variation, we might need to, launch not an official, but
Find out why?
yes, we would just need to log why, just because that
Yeah,
just
find
makes
out
it
why.
sound scary. It's
Yeah,
not scary at all, but we just want to, note
yeah,
why. And as soon as we know why, that's totally fine.
yeah.
But if it's a small change, we expect as well things, costs do change. There are a few months between
Mm,
application to people actually getting the grant, so it's fine.
Yeah. So if one of my collaborators pulls out and our artist fee goes down, if our venue suddenly goes, actually, we won't charge you anything because we'll make money on drinks, you know, and that's
Yeah.
something I can't predict right now in June, but it may happen in November. That's, there's a way to kind of get around that. So
Yeah.
I feel a bit less anxious about the budget than I did before. So thank you so much for explaining all of that. What was the next section that we're going to go through?
So then we got the additional funding for access costs.
Hmm.
So for this, Creative Australia will provide up to $3,000 of additional funding to support your access costs or the access for other people involved in your project.
Hmm.
So let's say, yes, we would like to receive this.
Yeah.
So as we can see, this is much less full on, which is
Mm.
great. And we just ask here to, I guess, tell us how much funding you would require up to that maximum of 3,000, what you will spend it on, and how this will make your project more accessible for you and for other people involved in the project.
Yep.
Uh,
Yep.
so
So
as you can, oh, sorry, yeah.
no, I was just going to say, so Zohar read out a list before, and hopefully that I think that's on the website as well. But with explaining it, would that mean, so I have chronic pain and I can't sit for 3 hours on PT each day, so I might have to get an Uber back if I can't get a lift somewhere. Would that be okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Um,
I have auditory, ear overwhelm. I've forgotten the words of that. So I need to get some loop earplugs so I can actually function when I'm actually working with people. Would that be okay?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely it would.
Yeah.
If you have any questions or your uncertainties about it, please just contact us. But generally, yeah. And sometimes access costs, maybe they'll be a bit bigger, a bit larger than $3,000. In which case, it would just come into the budget itself in an expenses column.
Mhm.
Um, but yes,
So I can, if it's more than 3,000, then I can add an access line item in my budget. Yeah.
absolutely, yes.
Right. Thank you for that. Um, Back to you,
Um,
sorry.
Not at all. Are you working with other partner organizations as part of this project? Yes, no.
So that's
Again,
like, is that going to be like registered organization, something that's incorporated or a corporation or a business or?
yes, yes. So it wouldn't be if you had an administrator because they're not working with you.
Mhm.
But say maybe you Arts Access New South Wales, someone is coming in to talk to you about creative access for your theatre show,
Mm.
or they're giving you a space, that kind of thing that is more involved the actual nitty gritty making the work kind of thing.
Mhm. Yep. Thanks.
That's okay. So then we go to the activity details. So project start and end dates. So we pop in the start date, and we also have to note here that your project needs to start from the 1st of October 2025 onwards,
Mm.
because if we need to allow time for the assessment process, everything like that.
Yep.
So let's pop in. Gonna go 1st of December 2025.
Great.
And then let's say, again, just making this up, 1st of December 2026.
Yep.
So I've given a year here. You can go for less than a year, and you also can go for more than a year,
Hmm.
if need be. So this is just,
Hmm.
hypothetical.
Yep.
And we would go to the activity. So we're having a
And
think.
once again, just given Crip time,
Yeah,
if I sort of went, oh, look, we'll knock it over in a year, it'll be fine. And then one of my main collaborators has really hectic long COVID and everything takes a lot longer. What do I do?
absolutely, just contact us. We're very, and this is like the bread and butter of what, not Andy, because Andy's manager. He doesn't kind of, but this is a lot of what we do. We're very much very happy to extend things for people. We understand things change. You know, you don't have to, you're not locked in, I guess, to the activity details that you put in.
Mhm. Great. Thank you.
So again, we're just because research or novel. And then we go 1st of December 2025. And in this hypothetical, I'm a very accomplished novelist,
Mm.
and I only need 2 months of research. So then we go, yes, that's confirmed because the research is me.
Mhm.
This will take place in Australia. And then we go down again. Venue. I'm going to just pop in my house because I have the internet and, there we go. Let's say New South Wales and Piedmont.
So you're actually doing it at work, aren't you? You're
Yes.
living in the office, writing a novel. Right.
Yes, I've never
Okay.
actually left Creative Australia in my life. Wonderful that I got a job
Pass
there.
it on. Yeah.
And then we see there, 1st of December, 1st of February, confirmed, yes. So it's quite basic, but it is
Mhm.
just to give a sense of the stages that you will go through in that time.
So I'll add a few points. There's a few little green crosses. So it's showing that I can break the project up into stages
Yeah.
and,
And yeah,
again, give a rough idea of what I'll be doing when. Yeah.
yes, and that is very helpful and important, I think, for the peers to understand your process as the art maker, the person, making the work.
Mhm.
Main location, is it in Australia or another country? Australia, pop a thing there. Or we'd say another country. So we need
Yep.
only one country here
Yep.
as the main place. Then we pop that there.
Yep. Yep.
Uh,
Now I think we've only got a couple more minutes to go.
yeah,
So
nearly there.
yeah, we're nearly there, and then we'll get onto support material. So I've
Yes,
also got a slide to share once you're finished showing how it looks on screen, which is super important.
good. Statistical information, that's fine
Mhm.
again.
Mm.
Project impact. So this one tells us the impact the project will have for you and for those involved in your project. What impact will it have on arts practice, professional development skills, or networks? So this isn't a huge thing. It's 2,000 characters. So if you can remember before, it's sort of in the middle, I guess, of what we were talking about. We want some information, but again, it doesn't have to be a thesis. And please just call us if you need any guidance on that.
Yeah.
Then we have more statistical information, and then we get to the all-important support material.
Yep.
So we absolutely would like you to please submit some support material with your application. Peer assessors will review this to help them gain a better sense of your project.
Hmm.
So there are three types. We have artistic support material. So we want relevant and ideally recent examples of your artistic or cultural work.
Yep.
We then have biographies and CVs. So this is where you can have your full CV, and you can have the bios or CVs of other people who are involved. Again, we want it no longer than 2 A4 pages. So probably if there's more than one, you want short CVs or bios. But there we go. And then we have letters of support, where individuals, groups, or organizations that are relevant can write in support of your project.
Mm.
So it's important to note that a support letter, we want to explain how the specific project or the activity that you are writing for, or pitching, will benefit you, other artists or arts professionals, participants, or the broader community. It can also detail or support any involvement of key project partners or evidence of consultation that you might have had.
Hmm.
Now, what is the best way to provide this support material? There are a few ways that you can do this. The first one, there are space here for URLs. So generally, providing via web links is I think ideal if possible, but if it's not possible, that's also very fine. So the main thing to think about when we talk about URLs is that you need to choose a platform that does not require the peers to log in to access.
Hmm.
And if you have any queries about what website does which, very, very fine, give us a call. We've got a few recommendations ready, hot and waiting out of the oven.
Okay.
Yeah. In terms of the artistic material, you can provide a total of 10 minutes of video and or audio recording,
Hmm.
10 images, and 10 pages of written material, for example, excerpts of literary writing.
Hmm.
So generally, we really want you to sort of craft, I guess, what the peers are going to see, because that allows you to put your best foot forward. However, as we can see here, let's say I've got a URL for the best play that I've ever written was recorded and it's logged here, and we have the video. that is great, but it also goes for 2 hours with an interval. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to say, please watch from 2 minutes 30 to 8 minutes 30, and then 64:25 to 7. I don't know. I'm bad at mathematics, but
No, that's really good.
yeah,
And then what about the finale? I'm sure that was a cracker, Christopher. I remember that bit. So
yeah,
again, add that. So you've got little segments and people can jump through to the timestamp,
yeah.
scroll
So
through and just watch the best
you
bits.
can just do
Yep.
a full 10 minutes
Yep.
if all those 10 minutes are together. You can also do here's a chunk here, here's a chunk here. So you are allowed to provide a video or a document that is longer, but in that case, we just really want you to tell us, what is what are the 10 minutes or the 10 pages or anything like that that the peers are going to look at.
Mm.
So also, if you have bad internet or anything like that, also very, very fine. You can just upload the material here.
Mm. But that wouldn't
So
be like sending a massive file, would it? Like,
what would you mean to?
I was just thinking if I had a video that I was going to send via WeTransfer, but it's 64 gigs, is that something that's possible?
I don't actually fully know
Mm.
I guess, how much do you know, Andy?
I'd suggest for large video files, uh, the web link or YouTube or private YouTube option is the way to go. Or if you do upload them, see if they upload, and if they don't, get in touch with us, and we'll try and figure out a path through for you.
Yeah.
We can take quite a lot of data on our upload
Thank you.
section.
Yes, it is quite
Uh,
large, but yeah, no.
how large? How big? How big will it take?
Well,
If if it's too big, it'll tell you
Yeah.
unable to upload. Then we'll have a chat.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Fantastic. Um, I think we've got oh yeah, that's the upload, but
yeah.
especially things like PDFs of support letters, is that the
Yes.
thing to kind of upload? Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the other thing. So the 10 pages of artistic material is completely separate to those 5 letters of support. So that doesn't take away from your artistic material. You can upload those here as well. The other thing I just remembered to mention, we can see password if applicable, and this is very important because I mean I've done it. Applicants that I've seen have done it. It's you just really want to remember it's totally fine if you'd like to password protect your work so that not everyone can see it. You just want to make sure that there's a password so that the peers can access it properly.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think we'll now just, if it's okay, we're going to, or did you want to go through just the final certification and then?
Oh no, that's good. No, I mean,
We might shift over and there's a couple of PowerPoint slides, Zohar. I think it was slide number 29.
very cool.
Um, so that was the last one. And then what was after that? Yes, on support material. Oh, if you go back to the support material, so we've said it's an online application. Yep. The easiest way is to have a URL. So I made a lot of TikTok videos, and I want to include them. How should I do that? Or I've got lots of Instagram reels which support my work. What should I do?
So for things like that that do require you to log in, I think the best thing to do is if you can screen record them, so that
Hmm.
they can be accessed as a video that is not required to be logged in.
Great.
Again, we can happy talk you through that. But if you've got an iPhone or the like nowadays, mostly there's just like a button you can press that will record it, and that's great because then you don't have to log in or create a TikTok account.
Great. Great. Thank you for that. And then I think the next slide is in a pale mauve version of our, I kept defaulting to a dark screen with light text, but this is a light screen with dark text saying, contact artist services. Any questions, any queries, any doubts? Is that the case?
Absolutely. That's why we keep going, and so many of the answers have been, please contact us. It's often, a cliche. I think a lot of arts companies they'll be like, contact us, but genuinely, we love helping applicants. We really want you to help put your
Yeah.
best foot forward. We're here for you, and we're ready to help.
Okay.
Our
So
team spends a significant part of every day just talking to artists and arts workers about their projects.
mm, Yeah, and you genuinely enjoy that from what I've heard. So the
Yes,
next,
no, we
uh, I think also the next slide, slide 31, just has our kind of key reminders, which is our applications are online. If you need an alternative application format, contact Data Services as soon as possible. So even as soon as you watch this video, I've said try, and if you want an alternative one, I'll put Monday the 30th of June as a deadline, just because if we have to make arrangements, it just makes it a bit easier. Um, and I think we decided, because actually the weekend, we've said try, and if you haven't registered for the application management system, try and get that done by Thursday, the 3rd of July.
yeah,
Does that sound fair enough? And that
yes,
gives the back end people enough time to make sure that you're on the system. If you're not sure if you're on the system or not, contact Data Services. Is that correct?
yes,
Yes,
yeah.
because you can
Um,
log in and see.
yeah.
Yep.
If
Yep.
it's easier to you to just register again and be like, I don't know, we're the people that do the registration, so we can just go, oh, and we'll contact you and be like, hey, you've already got an account with us. Here's your username. Please reset your password. So that's totally fine. No harm, no foul. Whatever. We don't mind.
Yep, yep. Thanks so much. And then submit your application by 3 p.m. Tuesday, 8th of July.
Yes.
If for some reason the cat eats your modem because you haven't fed them or something, or some disaster happens, what do you do?
Contact us as soon as the
Contact Data
problem,
Services. Okay.
Yeah.
And that phone number is
soon as the
02.
problem arises. Don't leave it. Contact us as soon as the problem arises.
As
Yeah.
soon as the problem arises. And that phone number, I'll read it out, which is 0292159000. The toll-free number is 1-800-229-912.
If you're emailing us, email us at inquiries@creative.gov.au. That's inquiries, ENQUIRIES, at creative, CREATIVE, .gov.au.
Thank you, all of you, for explaining things so clearly and warmly. And thank you, and thank you so much, Auslan interpreters, for uh, many, many thanks for uh, translating and interpreting so quickly and finger spelling so clearly as we mumbled along and hopefully spoke clearly some of the time. So I think that's all, folks. Thank
No,
you.
thank you.